on the front of the sleeve and the little cuff placket on the back. This little teeny cuff placket has a funny name. It's gauntlet.
What's it called?
Gauntlet. Yeah. So you can call it a placket or a gauntlet. The front side of the sleeve has the pleat. Okay, and the pleat is looking like it's near the top fold of the sleeve. Okay, and the pleat is a straight line that disappears. How do you think we could render that? Yeah, that feathering technique where you'll just start drawing and right near the end you'll just lift off. So which arm would I draw that on here?
That side.
Back side, okay. What marker?
Medium.
Bold. I can wrap my hand around that pleat, but it will become fine when I feather. Okay, so at the bottom it'll be dark and I'm going to lift it up and it's going to become fine. And it's near-ish the top edge of the cuff. You may want to use a ruler when you do it. So it's going to be kind of like, okay? So it's just going to disappear. So the pleat. So that pleat will be shown on any view where you see the front part of the sleeve. And I want you to keep that in mind because we're going to do the back view of this shirt and all of this stuff will be flipped around. So the extended sleeve will see the opposite. Does that make sense? And then the bent sleeve will see the pleat. So I want you to just keep that in mind. The pleat is on the front side. Over here, we're seeing the back of the sleeve, okay? So I don't want to see this fold. I'm going to save that diagonal line. This diagonal line, I just erased it. I'm going to use that diagonal line for the back view. I'm using this one for the front view. And what I like to do anytime I'm showing folded fabric, kind of like there's folded fabric up here, I don't like to connect that line all the way. I leave a little bit of a gap and I draw a little hook at the end, and that shows the dimensionality of the fabric and it shows that the fabric is folding that way. Okay, so you see that little hook? It's kind of the same thing that's happening here at the neck. Okay? On the back view when we do it, it'll look like the opposite. And the hook will be pointing in the direction that the sleeve is going. So it's going to look something like that. Okay? So it's going to be pointing up here and pointing down here. On this back view version, what detail would go in here? Would the gauntlet go in here or would the pleat go in here? The pleat. Okay? Think about this. She's bending this way. But the, are you sure?
Which one?
Okay, so this is my back view. This is my front view. So the difference in the sleeve, the bent sleeve, first difference is the front view, the fold is going up. The back view, the fold is going down. Let's think about the front view first, I guess, if the jump over here is confusing. The straight arm, we're putting a pleat. So what would we be putting on the bent arm? The gauntlet. So if we're seeing the reverse side of this, the pleat would go here, okay? We might not see the whole pleat. The whole pleat might be disappearing off up here in the fold, right? You don't need to keep drawing, just draw until it stops. Are you seeing that? Did I confuse anybody with that? Okay. So on the back view, you're going to see the pleat and a downward fold. On the front view, we're going to see the gauntlet. Okay? That means on the back view version of the straight arm, it's going to be the opposite. You'll have the gauntlet. So what does this look like to you? What do you see? Has anyone looked at it? This might be a good detail to take a photo of. You know, I've seen a few people photographing things. I find it's easiest if I have a photograph in front of me when I draw. Then I don't have to keep running back and forth and back and forth. This would be a great detail to photograph. What does it look like?
The buttons.
Little thing. It's kind of like a tall, skinny house shape, right? I can tell you it's 1 inch wide. How would we figure out the length of it?
Measure it.
Measure. How many lengths do we need to know? Because we need to know how high it is to the point, and we need to know how high it is to the bottom edge of that little triangle, right? So I'll do this measuring, since I think everybody's had a turn. So to the top of the point from the cuff, we're gonna call that 5 inches. And to the bottom edge, we'll just make it easy and call it 4.5. So the way this is gonna work, where is it in relationship to the top edge of the sleeve? Is it centered? Is it near the top? Is it near the bottom? Near the top. So here's the bottom, here's the top. So it's near the top. And do you see how it's opening? So that the gauntlet opens on one side, it's sewn down on the other. But it continues, the opening continues straight through the cuff, okay? So I'm kind of gauging where I place the gauntlet based on that sort of opening. I'm not gonna take a real measurement because honestly, if she's wearing it, this is rounded out and it's gonna look narrower. So I'm gonna be putting it near the top. All right, so it's going to